Now let's move on to our next session. It's on a very vital topic, balancing profitability with sustainability. Mr. Sunil Roy Wadhwa, Head API Manufacturing API Unit 9, Viatris, will speak on this very pertinent topic. Mr. Wadhwa is a senior pharma professional and leader with proven success driving startups, transformation, and turnaround initiatives. He guides development of cutting-edge business practices and manufacturing processes to deliver innovative pharmaceutical products across multiple disease areas. His areas of expertise include business strategy development, execution, commissioning and commercialization, alliance, partnership cultivation, vendor and supply chain management, cross-functional leadership, mentoring, regulatory, industry standards and practices, environmental health and safety programs, continuous process improvements, and total quality management systems. Over to you, Mr. Wadhwa.
Can anybody answer? Why are we doing business? Yeah. So basically we want to have profits. Profits you want only for one day or you want continuous. So no business can sustain if you get only a single day profit. Everybody has to survive, and for that we need continuous profits. So let's going on to this. What is sustainable profitability? It's basically profits are reasonably expected on a day-to-day basis, year-on-year basis, and for as long as the business is there. Today we are talking about profitability. Somebody will say, what about NGOs? What about charities? They cannot work without finances. So if they cannot work, from where they will get the finances? Only if some businesses are making profits. And profits have to be sustainable. Whatever we do, it should be legal. That is the basis of a business. There should be a value addition in all the activities what we do, as well as it should have a source of stability. Please mark the word, source of stability. Unless and until there is a source of stability in the business, it will not survive long. Sustainability is a fundamental for every enterprise. We heard a lot from about the pharma growth in AP, JNPC. We heard about the quality management. Where is our pharma industry now? As per the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, our pharma growths have grown by 103% in the last decade. This is a phenomenal increase at the time when every other industry is facing a challenge. We have grown about almost 101 billion in the last 8 years. Again, and we have a trade balance of a positive side, again to the tune of 1,500 crores over here. And why we are there, why Indian pharma is making so much of great profits. It is only because of the price competitiveness and quality. My friend has talked about quality management, knowledge management. That's true. Unless and until we are quality driven, you will not sustain. What is happening to the other countries? What happened to China? They came, but they could not sustain because they were not quality driven. That is the key to success. Our share of Indian exports is 5.92% for the pharma industry, and out of which earlier we were talking about only APIs, but formulations and biosimilars, biologicals, they have become a major share of 70%, and then followed by biodrugs and intermediates. The top 5 countries where we export are US, UK, South Africa, Russia, and Nigeria. All these countries, my dear friends, are regulatory driven, system driven. So it is nothing less than giving an indication to us, we have to be system driven, we have to sustain. Coming back to the topic, why do we say sustain? Don't see healthcare as it is. It should be seen as what it should be. We cannot take healthcare as a challenge, as something which will chalta hai. Because whatever that pill you are producing is going to somebody's somebody's body, and a person is depending on you for his savior of his life. As uniquely targeted, we must have, there are three things which we must talk about sustainability. First is access. Access is nothing but providing the right medicine to the patient at the right time, in matter of whatever geographical state he is, or matter of where he is and what condition he is. There, the countries which are having low income, they are at a disadvantage. But as a pharmaceutical entrepreneurs, as people working in the healthcare industry, it is our responsibility to be able to provide that particular drug or medicine to the person who needs it. Unless and until we expand our access, you cannot sustain. We may be very happy, okay, today we're exporting to the top 5 countries. But what about the other countries where the people are there? Because everybody is looking at that 5 countries. But if you have to sustain, you have to expand your access. That access can only happen if you expand your boundaries, your geographies. And it will not only depend on giving the medicine, it also depends on diagnostic clinics. This pandemic has shown us that you cannot take a medicine unless and until you have checked your RT-PCR. So, diagnostic clinics are very important for us. Medical research. Nobody thought COVID will be there 2 years ago. But because of that research, we have come up with new medicines overnight. India has come out with vaccines overnight, which is making it one of the pioneers in the world. Then, education. You have to teach the people what to take. You just cannot pop in a pill. Unless and until you educate the people, you cannot move forward. And then the digital tools. My friend had talked about digitalization. I'll also talk something about it. But that data is the power. Unless that digitalization is happening, which means you get the data right from the source, it is not going to happen. So that is the power which you have. Then the next point is leadership. Leadership is nothing but advancing the sustainable operations and innovative solutions to improve the patient's health. My dear friends, healthcare professionals are only and only there if the patients are there. And our main focus is to improve their health. Unless and until we continuously strive to give them a better medicine, you will not be there. Because today you are making any product, but because other people are also looking at you, they will develop some product, the same product. Maybe because they are smaller in size, the cost will be less. But if you are not able to improve yourself and get something new, you will not survive. You will not be able to sustain. And if you are not working towards that, you will not have the leadership with you. Lastly, it's partnership. We talked about partnership. Dr. Lal Krishna talked about partnership. It's collaboration. We have to combine together. The world has shown us that. Individually, you cannot do everything. So, if you collaborate together, if you partner together, you have to connect other people, you connect with the experts to come out with a solution and move forward. What are the challenges we are facing? These are the challenges which were there before the COVID, but even now also. which will always remain. The consumer expectation is going to go on and on increase. If you're giving him a 10 milligram tablet, he wants a smaller one. He wants at a lower cost. Instead of 2 BD, he wants a single dose. That is what his requirements are. And this is very difficult for managing the branded products, because you are driven by the regulatories. So how you develop, how fast you develop, how continuously you develop, it will not happen. Then again, we have found that because of this generic business is growing, the branded medicine, prescription medicines, they are going down. Every company, I can say, is facing this challenge today. There's a big volume drop. Why? Because the branded prescription drugs are not being given by the doctor. They want to give, every doctor has a reputation. Unless and until he gives a cheaper medicine to his patient, which is more effective or equally effective than the prescription medicine, he says, the patient says, fine, why I should take this high-cost medicine? So that is leading to a drop. And there's a, not only in this, there's a growing competition in all the categories. There's a growing competition in our, not only the production, but also in our supplies. There's a supply chain is a major criteria which we will talk about. That is, again, there's a competition over there. So how to think innovatively, that is the crux. We were delivering, maybe, okay, earlier you used to see, I used to, when I started my career 35 years ago, the trucks were only maximum of 10 tons. Today the tankers are coming 35 tons. Why? What is the need for that? Is cost. It is only to reduce the cost. People are going for high bulk storage, bulk drugs, bulk carriers. So this is going to change. Then this ongoing pandemic has given us, set up a new challenges for us. The priorities have shifted. Our earlier, even though we have grown our exports, but we have not grown our exports on the conventional medicines what we were giving earlier. They used to be luxury medicines, I would say. If you go to the US, antidepressants, looking beautiful, looking aging medicines and all. But pandemic has said, who wants antidepressants? We want to survive. That is more important for us. So there is a shift of the priorities. Today, the priority is to produce a medicine for survival, not for luxury. Yes, now things are improving. There will be a shift change, but the priority has changed. The shift of working culture. I think this again, my friend had talked about. Today, if you go to the corporate, 50%, 60% of the people are working from home. Are you getting the same output? No. You are in the meetings which used to happen across the table in the board meetings. It is now on Teams, Zoom, and all of a sudden there will be some child crying at the background, and it will disturb the whole meeting. So where are the culture has changed. Again, the supply chain disruption, which everybody must have faced. We are still very much dependent on our raw materials and solvents from China. But with this continuous lockdown and continuous environmental issues they have, we have a total disruption. Material is shifted from the factories, it is lying at the port. How they are keeping at the port, we do not know. And what is the effect on the quality of the product, it will only be known once it reaches the factory. And then, if there is a failure, it means what? Again, your productivity goes. You cannot be able to produce. Lastly is the talent availability. Earlier, we had engineers, we had chemists who wanted to work in the pharma industry. Is it the case today? No. Every engineer, if you talk about, 99% wants to go to the software industry. All of them are shifting their priorities. The talent, where it is, the talent is, it's not that we have stopped producing engineers. We are producing the same number of chemical engineers, same number of mechanical engineers, but how many are there coming on the shop floor? That is where the biggest challenge is. It will be there in the times to come. Then again, what are the key functional areas where what we can do? Okay, these are challenges, we have to overcome challenges. But what we have to do, what we can do to make sure that we are profitable, continuously, sustainable profitability, aiming at the right first time. Every quality man has, this is a priority. Every production head, every plant head, every corporate head says, yes, I want the right first time. But where are we? Even though we are working in a regulated requirement scenario, we may be at 96%, 97%. What is the balance 2-3% doing? How it is affecting us? I'm talking not only about the quality, I'm talking about the quantity also. From the theoreticals, we are hardly getting around 60-70%. 20-30% goes in the waste, which is a known fact. It is taken with us that yes, if you get 70%, you are doing a great job. But are we getting that 70% continuously? That is what our aim is. All my friends sitting over here, veterans of the industry, that is what we have to guide our people. We talked about knowledge base, sir. This is where the signals will come to the people working on the shop floor. Batch after batch it is coming. It is giving us indication how it is behaving. If the people who are keeping their eyes and ears open, right first time is not a rocket science, please. It can happen. If we are able to make 95%, 98% batches right the first time, it can happen for the balance 2% also. Provided the person, the operator over there is keeping his eyes and ears open. He's making sure his machinery is not giving you a signal. Any abnormal sound is a signal that there is some problem in the machinery. That is what we have to keep thinking. Look at the signals over there. You may do a lot of data collection unless and until you are observant, because everything cannot be put on the BPR. You cannot put everything on the BPR. The person has to observe. How do we do an investigation? We had, the 2% which is a failure, what do we do? Let's investigate. What is the first thing we do? Form a CFT, talk to the people who have taken the batch. So what are we expecting him? Whatever he is observing, we are asking him to tell us. So if that fellow is not observing anything during the batch, how will your investigation be complete and go for the negative experiments? But if that fellow is observing clearly and tells his superior, look, I am observing there's some problem in this batch. There's extra foaming, the color is not good, it is taking more time. Before it goes to the final, we can take some in-process incident, we can raise an incident and come out of that problem. Because once an OS comes, please imagine it has to go through, the laboratory has to put everything aside, it has to work on that particular batch. For that one batch, 8 batches are affected. Because the sequence will be 8 batches, the balance 7 batches, even they are passing, cannot move forward. So this is where the thing lies. Every solvent, every product, we will only look at what is the purity, what is the specification. How many of you will go and look at the chromatograph continuously? How many of you will go and see, okay, what are the other variations which are coming? This is just hardly a block manager, if he spends maximum of half an hour looking at these details, you can avoid the OS. That's the challenge what we have. Next part is cost reduction. As I said earlier, we are at 70% of the theoretical yield. So everybody who is producing that product will produce that. So that is the base level for the selling price of the product. So that will be the break even. But how do you make profit? Unless and until you do some other cost reduction. The supply price is going to be the same, plus or minus 1 or 2%. Because there is a limited number of suppliers, they will have the same cost, they will give the same cost to everybody. So what will you do? It's unless and until you have a recycling. Recycling of the solvents. Not only water, recycling of the solvents. Water. Water is a major source of which is going to be a scarcity in the world. This has been identified even by the UN. It is one of the pioneer thing in the SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, for the UN also. So water, unless and until you start thinking how to recycle water, it will be very difficult to sustain. It's very simple to send it as an effluent. Okay, jata hai, jane do. But wait, that's a cost. Ramki does not take it free. They charge you for that. Similarly, what we are, even if you evaporate also, it's a charge. So that is where we have to be cautious. Recycling. Overheads. Overheads again mean each and every equipment should be running for the maximum time. Unless and until we are doing that, you cannot sustain. One reactor which is not going to run for 24 hours means you are losing almost 50,000. 50,000 rupees you will lose if one particular reactor is not running in any plant. Because look at your cost. A typical 400 kiloliter plant will have a revenue expenditure of not less than 10 crores. That is a basic industry average industry I'm talking about. I'm not talking about multinational. Multinationals will be much higher. But this is a fact. If you have empty reactors, use it, even if it is for solvent recovery, for any other product. But unless and until you use them, you will not be able to sustain in the market. Why smaller companies are able to sustain? Why family-driven companies are able to sustain? Is because of this issue. No Lala will let you keep a reactor empty. They will question you. I worked with all the kind of people, they have been questioned. That reactor is not working for the last 2 days, why? What are you going to do? What you have to think? So then, this has to be a two-way communication between the supply chain and logistics. This is a major challenge now, because everybody will say, okay, I need advance information, 3 months, 4 months, so that I can get the product. But with the logistics, where the problems are there, you cannot work on the old system. There has to be a two-way communication. You have to, the logistics has to make sure that yes, wherever they can pick up the material, whether it is part load, full C, high Cs, whatever it is, they have to work with the supply chain continuously and make sure that the material is available at least 15 days in advance before the production is to go. This is a basic logic. 15 days, I am saying, because there is a quality control. They have to check the material. They require time. You cannot every time push them, or they cannot squeeze everything inside. That is where you have to be practical when you are talking about this. Last but not the least, welfare of the people. It is the welfare of the employees. We have gone through so much of mental trauma. Unless and until we are talking about the mental health of the people continuously. If somebody in my family I have lost, I will What will happen to me? What will be the thought process going in my mind? How to make sure that you come back to the right normal thing, that is where people have to come in. Whatever the FMOs are there, whatever the psychiatrists are there, they have to chip in now. And make sure that the people are able to give back to the company whatever they are paid for. And that is going to happen. And again, environment. This is a bigger challenge. Already India is part of has signed the UN document. By 2050, we have to fulfill the SDGs. Scope 1, Scope 2, gas, GHG, greenhouse gases, we have to reduce almost by 40% by 2030. Scope 3, we have to again go down by 25%. So, whatever the developed nations have done, they have really killed us. No, there were no gases requirement, no environmental requirement when they were developing, right? But today, for their survival and our future generation survival, we have to fight it out. Thanks to the government, they are really fighting out at the international level. Any government, I will not say any, but all developing nation governments are fighting it out. But again, they are also committing, and they are also making sure they are supporting the environmental friendly companies, industries to move forward. So this is again what I was trying to tell you. We have to make sure that we are taking care of the environment while it's supplying safer medicine. What is the use if you go to Delhi in the winters, you're giving a medicine for asthma, but your environment itself is full of asthma-causing environment. So there's fog, there's smog, everything is there. But how can a person who is having asthma survive? So we have to clean up the area. We have to clean up the environment. Maybe we have to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels. We have to go to alternative studies. There's a big connection between the environment and the human health. This must be, it is not only ours, for the future generation which has to come, for them also, we are the guardians of the environment. This is not our environment, we are the guardians of them, like somebody else was there before us. As I told you, the major UN Sustainable Development Goals are clean water and sanitization. This is the key area. There's almost 80% of planet is on water. But how much is there to drink? We all are still depending on the bore wells or the rains. One day the rain does not happen, 1 year does not happen, there's a drought. But what we are giving is, where is the clean water? Who is responsible for the clean? We are responsible. How much water we can recycle? A simple example, we are all having our plants in our house. Yes, whatever the filtrate is there, we will drink. What about the reject? Why it cannot be used for gardening? Why it cannot be used for utensil cleaning? How many of you do it? It's something which you do. It will save you not only water, the cost is minimal, but you will be able to recycle most of your washing water. Again, the water which we are using, a person who is taking a bath, the conventional system of a mugga, the mug and the bucket, as compared to a shower. In the shower you use 30% less. Okay, for a bath you are taking a shower. Why not cleaning hands? A small shower if you put on your tap, you save almost 75% of the water. You don't waste water. That is the saving. Responsible consumption and production. Our minerals in the land are very limited. So, how we are going to consume them, how we are going to produce, that is a major challenge. Next is the climate action. It is expected that the temperature will go up by 1.5 degree by 2025. Today, all the governments in the world are working to make sure that we don't go beyond 1.5. Already, the temperatures in India are reaching 50 degrees. Imagine Delhi at 50 degrees. We had that in deserts. That is what we have to work on. And partnerships. There's no chance that we can work alone. Please, let's have a collaboration with what we are saying, what Dr. Lal was saying. We have to collaborate, we have to partner to survive as well as get profits. Again, water I'm again emphasizing. If you consider it as a raw material, while there may be some R&D guys over here, while you are developing the processes, take it as a raw material. Only then once you put the cost of that water, you will make sure that yes, I use the optimal requirement, not extra. Then again, this for this consumption, fossil fuel is limited. But what to do? To remove this carbon imprint, we have to go for renewable energy. Solar energy, wind energy, hydro energy, these are the things which we have to depend upon, we have to emphasize upon. In North India, I think many of you might be knowing, if you have a bungalow or you have a big setup, you are supposed to have solar panels on your building, but it is not here. But the cost of solar energy is almost 25% cheaper than the normal energy. And it is always available. There is no dearth of it. So please start looking at it, not only your companies, but in your houses also. How we can go for that. And there are companies who are coming up and saying, okay, we will do the investment. You pay us at a fixed rate of 5 rupees per unit or so. That is something which is much cheaper than 7 rupees which you are giving to the government. Then we need to have new technologies which has to control the emissions, waste and effluent. Nobody thought about having a zero discharge plant earlier. But today, it's a mandatory thing, you have to have a ZLD. So similarly for distillations, for example, I'm saying, we go for the normal conventional reactor distillation, we go for the normal conventional column distillation. How many of the people, Dr. Reddy, yes, is a pioneer in that, go for RFEs and FFEs. That is where you use less energy and get maximum output. These are many things. I think over here also we have some companies who will be demonstrating how to move forward in our technology. And these things will only make your processes and your business sustainable. Then again, resource utilization and reigniting. Today, youth is the power. Let us, if you are able to direct the youth to get into your companies, and the success of your future will depend only on that. Everybody is almost having an average age of almost 45 to 50. After 10 years, what happens? Unless and until you reignite the youth, they come into the industry and they blend, work with the seniors, learn from them. After 10 years, what will happen then? So that is where the thing has to be. They have to dare to dream. Because what we have done 10 years ago, 15 years ago, for today it may not be the same thing. Somebody has, Dhirubhai Ambani dared to dream. He was just a cloth vendor. And today he is the biggest, richest man in the world, one of them. Okay, but that's what we have to dare to dream. So unless and until we give them the opportunity, okay, we take a calculated risk, you do it. Just Nike says, just do it. That is how they are world number one. Similarly, we have to think about it. And again, whatever the people are working in you, we have to ask them, always think, keep thinking, That passion has to come. Maybe for 2 years, yes, because of the pandemic, that passion was missing. But we have to reignite them. That is the key challenge for us now. Reverse mentoring. Because a new youth is coming and the old person, if they combine together, he has the latest technology. He knows, okay, the person who is there at the moment, he may know only how to operate the Microsoft Excel or Office. But he knows how to operate the Python and how to use all that data. Data analytics is the major key resource, what we need to do. We have to cultivate a culture of sustainability in our business. What is another strategical approach? Digitization. This is the key which will take us forward. One is the number of people available for manual recording, that is getting limited. The resources are getting depleted. So what is the next challenge? Get the data. Why everybody has to see a temperature and write? No. Why we cannot get the data directly from the source? You will get the most accurate data. And then, once you are getting the accurate data, your decision will be driven by data. Once you are decisions are driven by data, facts and figures, I'm sure nobody can have a failure. Because we know exactly what is. Then it will go towards the next step is the automation. First, this is a data acquisition, then is the mechanization, and now automation. This is something which is the key which is going to work. Then is the cost optimization. Cost optimization, till now everybody, any company you go, cost reduction. Okay sir, you will do it. What? Reduce 10 people. First is attack the manpower. Reduce the manpower. Second attack, oh new recruits are there, reduce the salary. So if you give them peanuts, what you will get? Monkeys. So do we want monkeys? No. But whatever the people are available, you have to use them carefully. Use them, optimize your production processes, optimize your cost. How we can maximize, I have always of a theory, people say cut the cost, I said no. You increase a little investment, produce more. If I can increase my reactor size from 3 KL to 6 KL, I can take double the batch size. My cost of analysis will go down, my productivity will go up. This is what we need. That is the cost optimization we need. If you are producing 6 tons in one quarter, why don't we produce 12 tons in one campaign? Or total year campaign we produce once. Your product changeover goes down, your analytical cost goes down, and when you're taking more number of batches, your efficiency goes up. Your solvents recovery, utilization, everything will go up. That is where we need to, that is not only that ideas have to come from bottom to top. It should not be top driven. Unless and until the people on the shop floor, people who are in the middle management, they come and say, yes, sir, this is my option. Can you look into this? Definitely we can. And that is what will drive the business, that will what sustain the business. My dear friends, we cannot chalta hai attitude, we have to come out of it. Please. Collaboration, we talked enough about it, holistic approach, that is where we have to investigate the barriers. What is the barrier for us to move forward? Break that barrier. Today, I tell you, earlier we were only dumping our material. Today we are talking of charging in a closed system. We've got screw feeders, we've got water transfer system. Why? How it came? Once we start thinking why we have to open the manual. A glass line reactor, I'm telling you, if you do not open it for 1 month, right, life will increase by 6 months. That's a fact. Because every time you open it, your edges are going down. You are not able to tighten it properly. There will be some leakage from there. It will go dripping down. And ultimately the glass line will go. We say, at the most we say 7 years, 10 years. No. because we are making it like that. Unless and until we are making sure that we are keeping everything closed, then till that time you will not be able to survive. This is another topic we have, the infectious or the non-communicable diseases. There are 4 diseases which cause for 80% of the deaths in the world globally: cardiovascular, cancer, respiratory and diabetes. Unfortunately, we do not have any preventive medicine which can say that if you take this, it will never happen. There's no food, there's no medicine like that. It is only, but these medicines, unless and until we make sure that we are still reaching to all the countries, even the low income, the high income group can always get medicines. They can survive. They can increase the longevity. But for the people who are in the low income group or middle income group countries, for those kind of people, how to make sure that the medicine reaches them, that is our challenge. That will be our survival. That will be the sustainability. Yes, because that is volume gain. Volume gain means profit gain. Profit gain means sustainability. That is what we need to exercise. For our infectious diseases, till now the world is only able to take care of polio. There are maximum 1 or 2 cases in Pakistan which are left behind, but otherwise there is a vaccine which has taken care of that. Rotary has done a great job on that. But even for HIV, anti-AIDS, TB, malaria and now COVID, we do not have a vaccine which will prevent. That is where the world challenges. That is where the innovations or inventions are going to be directed forward. Due to high cost, it is burdensome for the low income group, low income countries. A country like Sri Lanka, Pakistan, are they able to survive? They are not able to get to 2 meals per day. What about the medicines? Who will care for that? This is where I am talking about. Focus on accessibility of high quality medicines for these countries. Once you keep doing it, there are many organizations, PEPFAR is there, WHO is there, which will facilitate. But yes, we have to develop and we have to make sure we are able to give. In India, NACO does it. That is what I am doing. And then our focus on vaccine and biosimilars. This is going to be the next chapter. Generics are over. It will be biosimilars and vaccines which is going to take us through. Moving forward, I think we all discussed on these issues. Again, but the major crux is, sir, look into our processes, look into how we get the right first time, look into how we can get a cheapest product, and make sure that product is accessible to all the patients across the globe at the right cost, at the right time. With this, I think I may have extended sometimes, Lakshmi is giving me some looks, but it's okay. Right. Thank you very much for all your patient hearing. Right.